Chivayik.
Okay, before we get going, I just want to make a quick public service announcement. Our internet is particularly slow today, so if there's any lag, I apologize. I'll post the YouTube live link in case you want to try there. It might be a bit faster, but we're sort of slowly working on how to speed our internet. It's since we live in the middle of a forest, uh, we have very slow internet. We're actually on a DSL uh, setup, which is the old way of doing things. Okay.
Okay.
So, and this one. So thanks for your patience.
Okay, let us begin with metta. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere.
Neither from anger nor ill will
Should anyone wish harm to another,
as a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child.
even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Okay, let us begin our practice with this metta background. We pay total attention to our breathing. Notice our breath coming in through our nostrils into our lungs, expanding lungs, expanding lower abdominal area. As we breathe out, we notice the contraction of lower abdomen. This is hay fever season. So we all have to understand that. I'm sorry about it. When we breathe out, our lower abdomen contracts, chest area contracts, the breath leaves our nostrils. This happens all the time. We breathe in and out. Also, we notice the feeling that arises while we are breathing in and out. Perception arises, thought arises, consciousness arises, and pass away. By the way, consciousness is much faster to arise and pass away. Consciousness is not something fixed and stays all the time. It arises every moment, every time any movement, any activity, mental or physical, take place, consciousness arises along with them. Therefore, it is hardly we can notice the consciousness arising separately from anything else. So noticing them rising and falling all the time, desire for clinging to anything in these aggregates, body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness, is mere futile effort, because nothing can we can hold on to nothing. For nothing remains for us to hold on to, and therefore the mind gets used to accepting the coming and going, rising and falling of body, feeling, perception, thought and consciousness. Then our desire or hindrance desire fades away, and then also we notice the body relaxing, mind relaxing, the breath relaxing. In this relaxed state, rigidity, uptightness naturally disappears. That space is taken by the feeling of metta. When we have metta feeling in the relaxed state of mind, without anger or resentment, the mind becomes even further relaxed, and restlessness and worry fades away. That place is taken by compassion. When compassion arises, restlessness and worry also disappear. And then we naturally get more encouraged to continue our practice. This encouragement is more energetic state of mind that overcomes our sleepiness and drowsiness. When sleepiness and drowsiness overcomes, we have already overcome 4 of the 5 hindrances: greed, resentment, restlessness and worry, and sleepiness and drowsiness. What remains is our doubt, which of course disappears when we see the results within ourselves, results of our practice. This is what we read in the text about the quality of the Dhamma, Pacchattam Veditabba. All wise individuals see for themselves, in themselves, the facts of Dhamma, truth of Dhamma. When this happens, doubt fades away, confidence builds up. That brings a joyful feeling. This joy leads to happiness. Happiness leads to tranquility. The tranquility full of mind gains concentration. Tranquility filled mind leads to concentration. When we gain concentration, even that state, mind is not just inactive, doesn't become like a rock. It still continues to work, sharpening and deepening our awareness. The mind becomes clearer to see the subtlest changes taking place in our body, feeling, perception, thoughts and consciousness. These are the material we have to see impermanence. And when we see impermanence, The notion of permanent self or soul vanishes, disappears from our mind. We may have the notion or the thought or inclination towards it, but it does not simply exist. This non-existence of self is more clearly visible to the clear eye, clear mind, without hindrances and with concentration. So let us try to see this happening in our practice. dukkhapatta ca nidukkha, bhayapatta ca nibbhaya, sokapatta ca nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this metta thought, let me answer the questions that Brian will read for me.
Okay, Bhante, first question. Dear Bhante, this question is about the connection between identification with the body and the belief in a permanent self. If we break down the word Satkaya Diti into its three components, we have Sat equals truth, Kaya equals body, Diti equals view. So we get the view that the body is truth. For example, one thinks one is the body. Therefore, one could infer that believing that one is the body is connected to the belief in a permanent self. Could you please clarify this?
Yes, there are two things here. The body is true only for the moment you think it is true. But it is a fleeting, changing phenomenon. To say that the body is, therefore is not true. But you think the body is true. You think the body is true, you think. That is your thinking. And this is the view regarding the body. Body is means you imply that the body has something permanent in it. So this is what the Buddha said that does not exist. Therefore, the conclusion is, though the body appears in your mind, we all see all these bodies, so many bodies around. But what really is happening to these bodies, we do not see with our regular eyes. Even with microscopic lens, through microscopic lens, we cannot see one unchanging, static, permanent body. So much less the existence of permanent self. When people think the body is, and in reality it is not, because it is the combination of various factors coming together, giving an impression that it exists. But in reality, that is always in a state of flux, changing. So the people think that the body is identical with the self, or self is in the body is in the self, and self has the body has the self, and so forth. With regard to the body, there are four ways of speculative thinking. These are speculative thinking, assumptions, taking this for granted. But this is what Buddha says does not really exist. It is just, for instance, you can assume permanent self if you want. That moment in your mind, you will you will have the thought of permanent self. It's only thought, and therefore you can create this thought in your mind, but it really does not exist, and therefore sat kaya ditti. Ditti means view, as you already. Ditti means view or seeing. For instance, when one attains the stream entry, that person is called dittipatta, attained to the vision. Ditti means vision. Now, the vision that there is self in the body is a false vision. That is why it is called Maya, false vision. So Buddha said, don't assume that there is such invisible, permanent something in the body. So letting go of that belief is called giving up sakkaya ditti. Sakkaya ditti, the view that the body is permanently exist, body permanently exists, or self exists in this body. Of course, when the body is so quickly changing, how can there be anything unchanging existing in that body? So, I mention it every day in my meditation instructions. When you gain concentration, you see this reality that the self is a illusion created by our mind, which also is not permanent. So this impermanent mind can create impermanent thing as permanent. So this is a very subtle thing that you can see only when you gain concentration, only when your mindfulness of impermanence is very sharp, that you will get rid of this notion of permanent self. Until such vision arises, that is ditthi-patta. So one ditti is called wrong ditti, mithya ditti. Other ditti is called samma ditti, right vision. But for both the word ditti is used. so, so we have to understand the meaning of ditti depending on the context. So always this is a very important thing to understand, and therefore I hope this might answer your question.
Thank you, Bhante. May I ask when you would use the 4 methods you outlined to avert a hindrance, and when you would sit with the arising of a hindrance with all the thoughts and feelings and emotions with vipassana until it subsides. In Western psychology, suppression is seen as a bad thing. Is there any suppression in the 4 methods? When you observe the arising of a hindrance with vipassana meditation, is the focus to see the impermanence of the thoughts and feelings that accompany it?
Okay. Now, I use 4 kind of efforts to overcome hindrances, and there are 3 stages where hindrances will be overcome. So I don't know which one you are referring to. However, for method of overcoming hindrances is first actually hindrances we deal. There are five stages. First is that you recognize that there is no hindrances, unarisen hindrance arise, any particular hindrance arise. And then you recognize it, then you let it go. When it goes away, you recognize that there is no hindrance in the mind. That is the second stage. The third stage is again when the particular hindrance arises, you use your fourfold effort. Effort to prevent, effort to overcome, effort to develop the opposite of it, and effort to cultivate maintain the opposite of it. So when you use these efforts, hindrance will fade away, disappear. Then the fourth stage is the hindrances. You recognize the hindrances that was arisen is gone, disappeared. So then you recognize that hindrance which is gone from your mind will not come back again to your mind. These are the fifth stage. Now, when we apply this fourfold effort, hindrance will disappear in three stages. First stage is using the opposite factors of that particular hindrance. That is called tadanga pahana, tadanga. Meaning, for instance, when greed arises, you will use either you understand the disadvantage or danger of that particular greed. Danger for this particular practice. For instance, you want to gain concentration, make your mind calm, relaxed, peaceful. All of a sudden you remember your most favorite ice cream sitting in the refrigerator. How can you meditate? So you have to use it, but maintaining the desire for ice cream is not going to take you anywhere except getting stuck there and keeping thinking of the ice cream. I mean, this is a very trivial example, but this example makes the point. So you have to let go of desire for ice cream, and you have to use method to let go of it. That is not a suppression. That is, you understand, with understanding, okay, this moment I must have clear state of mind. I should not have the desire for ice cream, and you can let it go. That is not depression or suppression. You do not want to be obsessed with this thought. Keeping harping on this is a sort of an obsession. We have to let go of this obsession. That is no suppression. The opposite of desire is letting go. And the opposite of hatred is practicing metta, loving friendliness. You see, we all are impermanent people. You can find various reasons to develop metta. It will not happen very quickly, but you have to develop metta. That is another factor you use to overcome your hatred. When you have another hindrance, whatever, use its opposite to overcome for this moment. This is one way of overcoming. That is called factorial replacement. Then the next is the vikambana. Vikambana means when you want to practice the meditation, your goal is to gain concentration. Your goal is to make the mind clear and pure. So with a very wholesome, wonderful goal in your mind, you temporarily suspend it. There is nothing wrong in that. I think even if you are a psychologist, you will recognize that letting go of certain obsessive mental state is a healthy state, not suppression. So, for instance, it is just like taking a pot to get water from a pool which has algae on the top. Entire pool is covered with algae. But the below algae, water is very clear. What you do, you take the pot and press down, and then at that place where you press the pot, the water remains clear. Algae will give way and water remains clear, you take water. Similarly, you take the advantage of letting go of this for this particular purpose, just like you remove the algae in order to get clean water. You let go of these hindrances for gaining this clear state of mind, concentration. That also is no suppression because you are doing something for the purpose of wholesome purpose. And the third method is, of course, as you keep doing this exercise, this practice again and again and again, those hindrances will never appear in your mind again. At least during that practice. Of course, hindrances are temporary things. Underneath hindrances, there are more heavier, stronger roots. They are called fetters. From as long as underneath the fetters, there are some other roots called tendencies. Fetters are called sanyojana. Tendencies are called anusaya or asava. Underneath asava, there are anusaya. These are long, brood mental states that have been so strongly rooted in your mind. So it is difficult to overcome. So slowly and gradually you uproot the whole source or root of that particular defilement, and then you will be very perfectly pure and clean, and you will have a very wholesome, clearest, purest, luminous state of mind without any defilements or hindrance or fetter. Therefore, in our way of training, we do not let any obsession take over our mind. So that is a very healthy mental state. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. I think always Vedana arises, and in nanoseconds, Chitta arises. If this is correct, would I say this? If someone who is fully established in Sati Sampajana feels Samisa Dukkha and immediately lets it go, this reaction would stop anger from arising in the mind. So fully established Vedana Nupassana will protect Chitta to be contaminated with unwholesome thoughts. Is this correct?
Yes, partially correct. The other part I want to add to this is that not only Vedana and that particular Chitta that arose together with that, we must see impermanence in them. The impermanence is such a big thing, the Buddha's teaching. Therefore, whatever, whether it is feeling or perceptions or thoughts, conscious, whatever arises, it arises and whatever arises passes away. This is the truth of dependent origination. There is nothing largest or the smallest in the universe that remains the same even for a nanosecond. You referred to nanosecond feeling, nanosecond consciousness. If you can see that nano feeling, nanosecond consciousness and so on, and see with clear state of mind how quickly they change and accept that change as the reality. So that is vipassana training that one gets through the practice. So you are right by saying that they arise for such a insignificant moment, and next moment it is no longer there. It completely is vanished, gone from your mind, never to arise again the same feeling or same moment of consciousness. What arises afterward would be another and another and so on. So you remember that. I think that is the answer to that question.
Thank you, Bhante. Through my daily meditation practice, I experience Chitta Nupassana is easier than Vedana Nupassana. When anger and desire arise, I notice that anger and desire have arisen. But most times I cannot recognize dukkha sukha. Please teach me how I can practice.
Okay. You have hinted the answer. When anger arises, you says there?
That she is able to notice that. She's able to notice when anger has arisen.
Right. When you notice.
Or desire.
Yeah, anger or desire arises, you notice it. When you notice it, don't notice it superficially. Try to penetrate. When anger arises, you see in your mind very clearly. Don't ask any question, don't use any words. You focus your mind on that particular anger. At that moment, you have suffering, dissatisfaction. So, at the very moment anger arises, suffering arises. That very moment. Anger is, you said anger is easier to notice than feeling. Anger itself is a feeling. So you say, you use only the word is different. When anger arises, the unpleasant feeling arises. Unpleasant feeling is dukkha and dissatisfaction. Similarly, greed arises. That is even more so when greed arises until you fulfill what you want. Greed means greed for something. Greed doesn't arise from a vacuum. Greed doesn't arise for nothing. Greed arises for something to get, acquire, possess. See, until you possess that particular thing, how much suffering you have due to your greed? Okay, you see that. At the same time, you suppose you got what you wanted. It will not happen during your meditation, of course. You get out and you make effort and do a lot of things to get something that you want, that you like. Are you happy then? Are you satisfied? You are not satisfied because what you got, if it is something, a food for instance, food, you have a desire to eat certain things. You made lot of effort and got it and ate it. While eating you are happy. You satisfy your desire. Is desire gone? No. You want it again and you again get it. Is desire gone? No. So that is the problem with trying to satisfy the desire. On the other hand, suppose you enjoy your desire. While enjoying your desire, something else is appendix or appendix added to that. What is that? Pain. Pain for getting it, pain for maintaining it, pain for supporting it. If it is something expensive, pain for insurance and payment. Payment doesn't come from heaven. You have to work very hard to get the money and so on. Why is that all these things? Because you enjoy this little pleasure. So that is why the Buddha said, yo sukhang abhinandati, so dukkhang abhinandati. One who enjoys pleasure enjoys pain. So this is not a gaining situation. This is a trap. And therefore, whether you have anger, you have pain, or whether you have a desire, you have pain. When you get one, other comes free. Buy one, get one free. So the free one is the more difficult thing, not the one you buy. And therefore, none of them is an easy thing to deal with. All of them brings us pain. The best thing is to reduce our desire, be content, try to be wanting a little, having less than more of any material thing. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other question? We may not have much time.
No, that was the last one, and it's 11 on the dot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, friends, for asking these questions. We will meet again next Thursday. Until then, reflect on what we have studied, practice and practice and practice. Keep practicing metta, mindfulness together as we discussed every day. May all those who are suffering in hospitals may recover rapidly, and those who are helping them continue their help, like doctors, nurses, hospital staffs, very compassionate, dedicated people. May they continue their service and may not get affected by this COVID 19 and live long in good health. Those who have lost their loved ones, some of them are my friends, some of them are Brian's friends, some of them are others' friends, some of them are unknown to any of us. Definitely, when they lose their loved ones, in spite of learning them, practicing meditation, and so on, still people grieve the death of those beings. May they understand Dhamma more deeply, continue their practice more regularly, and overcome their grief. And may their relatives that passed away may attain liberation from suffering, samsaric suffering, and those living relatives not only be free from grief now, and may they all be free from grief forever in samsaric existence. And there are some people who are still trying to find solution to this COVID-19. May they be successful for the benefit of all these beings. And those who are financially supporting them, may they continue their generosity for welfare of all beings. Many leaders have been working hard to curtail this, reduce this, overcome this in their own way, and some of them have been successful, and may they continue their wonderful service for out of compassion for all beings. And other leaders who are still lagging behind and want to do something one way or the other to help these people, may they be successful. May they have patience, courage, understanding, and patience, insight, and wisdom to make right, wise decision for the benefit of all. May all of them you may be well, happy, and peaceful. Thank you for participating